In communication, connectivity is everything. We ensure that the links never sleep. Quantities and qualities, all in our data service, providing efficient, reliable voice and data service. We believe if you're not up to speed, then you're going backwards. Communications have to flow as fast as the speed of light. Whatever business you're in, having someone who understands your needs is critical. That is why we just don't offer you technology, we offer you solutions. Enjoy Gamcel's internet broadband anytime, anywhere. Your national operator, Gamcel, Yaibaram.
All right.
Honey, did you remind him that the last time he sent the money, it was not enough to buy all the provisions?
Oh, sorry, I forgot to tell him.
Are you guys talking about money transfer to buy provisions?
Yes.
But
Don't you know about Baluwo?
Baluwo? What is Baluwo?
Baluwo is a service that your son can use to send provisions directly to you guys from the shop. And you don't have to worry about the exchange rate.
Tell me how Baluwo works.
It's very simple.
Just log on to baluwo.com and shop, or download the app on your phone. You can shop on the website or using the app to buy online basic products for your family and friends. With Baluwo, you decide what your money is spent on. Your money, your choice. Buy online products for your family and friends in the Gambia, Senegal, Nigeria or Mali. Baluwo, better than sending money.
Are you thinking of owning your dream homes? EJ Investment is here for you. Secure our quality bungalows with 2, 3 or 4 bedrooms, or our story buildings 3 or 4 to 5 bedrooms at very affordable prices with flexible payment plans at our Sanyang Seaview Estate, where you can enjoy the cool breeze with modern infrastructure such as tarot covered.
From the lunch break, Council, can we continue, please? If you are ready, please proceed. Whoops. Let's say you advertise. You should ask for some money from...
Welcome back, Mr. Witness.
Thank you.
May I remind you that you are under oath and you have an obligation to speak the truth. You have a right not to incriminate yourself. But you do not have a right to speak untruth. You don't have a right to provide false or misleading information. Do you understand?
Very well, Council.
Before the break, the lunch break, we agreed, we established that men in black would bring the suspects already tortured before the commission and their statements were taken. Men halno yimbe bornobe ko bawli ko be nangat neddo be ya be mettina mo walla be lippamo si pari be adamo yeso commission o be banga konul mabbe. Correct?
Bringing them does not go straight to statement taking. They are brought in and we interview the statements are taken.
Addugol be wiidani firtani wi gol wonda be nabete direct ka window be nguma ka window no window be halaji wadi sibe addama ko bebe men jodina betam men lando be taw.
You are correct in that they were brought in already tortured and presented to the panel to be interviewed.
Ɗon de ko gonga ɓe lappat ɗumen ha para ɓe adda ɗumen e nder suudu o ɓe joɗɗina ɗumen e yeeso panel o pour ɓen wawa fuɗɗade lamdugol maɓɓe.
Correct?
I agree that some of them were tortured, yes.
Mi jaɓi ɗum wondema woodi e maɓɓe ɓe andanama wondema ɓe tappama ma ɓe heeɓi caɗele musuɗe.
Before the break, we have also agreed, you have also agreed that members of the panel knew that these people who were brought, some of them were tortured.
ɗo mi yaha e mbottari kala a holli wondema andi woɓɓe wona fof kono woɓɓe no ɓe yimɓe mo annduɗa ɓe lappama ha para ɓe adda ɗumen e yeeso panel o ɗo e nder suudu ɗon.
Gonga.
Before the break, we were talking about the interview environment.
ɗon men ya mbottari meɗen yewtano kala fii e no ɓe lamdirta yimɓe ɓen nder suudu ndu no wa'uno.
You have said that those who brought in the suspects wore black and face and masks or balaclavas, as some would call them. They had weapons which was intimidating.
Wiɗa kala ɓe yimɓe mo annduɗa kamɓe ɓornoto ko ɓawli kamɓe addata yimɓe mo annduɗa ɓeni ko yimɓe tuumaɓe te noon sita ɓeni adda ɗumen woɓɓe maɓɓe ta ɓe marat fitilaji tokosi e bandu maɓɓe te noon ɗum kala no hulɓini no wonno ɗon e nder suudu ndu.
Yes.
The last point we dealt with before the break was whether inside the panel, inside the room, whether that environment was also intimidating.
ɗumen acci yewtere nde ɗo emin yaha ko ɗum woni e nder suudu ndu ɗon e nder sal o e piiji ɗin no woniri ɗon e yimɓe wonɓe e nder ɗon e aroɓe ɗon sa ndaari ha joni no woniri ɗon ɗon kala e no wawno dal hulɓinat woɓɓe.
That's the point we were discussing.
Ko ɗon men accino yewtere nde.
So let me now ask the question again.
Joni mi lamdoto ɗum tahin.
You said the interview environment, the room where the interrogations were going on was tense. So I ask you again whether that environment was fearful or was it intimidating?
Mi lamdoto ɗum tahin ko ɗum woni e nder on suudu ɗon e nder on sal mawɗo ɗon no piiji ɗi no woniri ɗon no haaju on yarata ni mi lamdunomo sita ɗon e nder ɗon no wuli walla ko tubakoɓe wiyata tent sita no wayno noon ta ɗon noon no hulɓina woɓɓe no hulɓini dal nda wona noon wonno.
That was my feeling, and I believe others also feel the same.
No min mi urno temiɗo tanƴini kadi woɓɓe kadi ɓe woni toon ɓen kadi ko noon yiiri affaire no waalo.
On that basis, can we conclude that the environment too was fearful, it was intimidating?
Awa dow ɗum noon min mbawat humnude yewtere nde ɗo e nder on jama e nder suudu ndu ɗon toon no hulɓini te noon no wawno dal hewɓe ɓernde maɓɓe wawata jooɗade sitaɓe woni ɗon.
That was my feeling, yes, Councillor.
Min kadi ko noon mi yirno jonde nden ko noon mi ƴettirno ɗum kadi hulɓini.
We have received testimonies from members of the panel or the statement takers. We have received testimony from the victims. All of them say the environment was intimidating even for the investigators themselves.
Men heɓi ɗo seedayagal yimɓe mo annduɗa kamɓe woni yimɓe mo annduɗa ɓe lappama ɗon yimɓe mo annduɗa kamɓe woni liggotoɓe ɗon e yimɓe mo annduɗa kamɓe woni e nder panel o bom ɓe wi dal e nder ɗon no wawno no hulɓini te noon woɓɓe dal ɓe heɓta ɓernde dal sita ɓe natti ɗon ɓe hulat.
They may be right because I was intimidated as an individual.
No, why? Be ko be woni ko alda ko gonga sabu min e hoore an tigire mi huluno.
In that environment, which you said was intimidating to you, do you think that on the basis of the legal knowledge you have, do you think that that environment was a suitable environment to interview a suspect and obtain a confession?
Wayri an horema a yiri dula on non no wainon don no hulbini walla wobbe sibe natti don bernde mabbe tenkata joni sikkuda don no moƴƴi pour adda don neddo wanduda be non bonin tuma pour on lamdomo e der on dula ha para on heba kongol e jungo makko sikkuda dum non no yaadi e lawol no foti yaade ni.
It may not be, but there was no other option, Council.
You know, I can fair go allow on Council.
The issue I have with your answer is the use of the word may. It may not be, but we have no other choice. That's what you said.
No, I didn't say that, Council.
Repeat your answer then.
I said it may be, but we have no other choice.
Well, if it may be, it also may not be. But I'll take what you just said. Okay? It may be, but we have no other choice. This is no like borderline situation. It is either the environment was not a suitable environment for an interview because of the illegalities, or it was. It cannot be in between. I ask you the question again. In view of the intimidating and fearful environment which you also felt as an investigator, do you think, in view of your legal training, that it was a conducive environment to conduct an interview lawfully?
Sangari don kerol wawata don wonde ko hunde wotere e wawata wonde don der suudu ndu no wawno don wayri an horema wiida don wobbe sibe natti don bernde mabbe tenkata no hulbini so joni sikkuda don non ko dula mo anduda no moƴƴi pour be lamda neddo walla be adda don neddo be wada mo interview walla be lamdomo pour hebon kongol e jungo makko wayri onon haywon onon wonbe der don an horema wiida don dal o wela nani mano piijidi ni woniri don sikkuda don no moƴƴi no yaade e lawol
Legally, no.
Si andari e sango luwa ko gonga don yaadani.
Therefore, flowing from what you have said, any interview conducted in such an environment and a confession obtained, what should be the legal consequences of that statement, of that confession?
Joni sita neddo adama don no pijidi no an horema yirda haajol no woniri ni si goddo adama don e der on jama be lamdimo ha joni o haali haalaji mo anduda be bangi dum ha pari e sembo luwa o joni on haala makko on no woniri e luwa on no walori sikkuda dum non no moƴƴi walla no yaadi e luwa walla kono wayi.
It could be good ground for involuntary confession.
Dum ko darnande fondamande kelbude.
I said it could be good ground for involuntary confession.
Ko darande fondamande moƴƴide pour on tigi wanda dawa wondema pour o wawa jabude kongol ko tagako e mum.
And by involuntary confession, you mean a confession that is illegally obtained?
On non wawno ko firti ko dum woni si haala hebama don e jungo neddo on haala wawa wonde wona haala mo anduda no laabi walla yaadani e lawol.
It was not voluntary.
Hebaka haala kan hebaka e jungo on tigi no e belade makko.
If it is not voluntary, then it is illegally obtained.
sita non wana hala mo anduda jom on hore makko ko weltare wadi haali dum awa joni sita men laari don woto ko hala mo anduda yaadani e lawol.
If that's your deduction, I agree.
We are talking about law here. It's not about my own perception. It has to be voluntary. If it is not voluntary, it is illegal. Do you agree with that? Hala sinodo no okiri hala o foti wonde hala ko weli jom o no weli mo mbo haali ran kono non sita ko lawol goddo bana lawol mo anduda jom on no hulbina ha o haali hala laaji e ko don wiyatani awa on hala no wano dal wawata wonde hala mo anduda no tiidi no dari ha tiidi.
If it is not voluntary, it is involuntary, and it could be set aside when it is interpreted somewhere.
Are you avoiding to say the word illegal?
No, I know that aparani halde hunde manuda yadane lua.
The law says a confession should be obtained voluntarily. If it is not obtained voluntarily, that confession is illegally obtained and therefore should be set aside. That is the law. Do you agree with that? Don't interpret this.
I don't contest law. If that is the law, that is the law.
It is not a question of if. Do you agree that that is the law?
Council, I think I don't disagree from this.
Okay, just say it then. Just say it then. If you
I said involuntary. If it is involuntary, obviously it has some issues, and that's what I said. If it is involuntary, it could be set aside. So illegally, when it is illegal too, I wouldn't contest that, because that's what you said is law.
So you agree that if it is not voluntarily given, it is illegally obtained. You agree with that?
Yes, Council.
Was this known to the panel that what they were doing was obtaining illegal confessions?
Joni yimbe wonbe nder panel o kambe hore mabbe be andununa di halalaji ko be hebata be nder juude be yimbe yadani e lawol.
I cannot remember telling any of the statement writers that these were illegally obtained. I didn't tell them anything like that. I was the head of the police panel, investigators, so obviously that directive possibly may come from me or any other person else, but I didn't tell them not to obtain statements.
You are what I wanted to wonder when Mihalani don't window not we get to be halaji map any we got the wonderma halaji map any bone jet you journey running diadani el wow. You are what I'm not on police at the minjon for no journey that near Miroji, the window coming from no journey, economy money target.
My question was not meant to elicit that answer. My question was it known to the members of the panel that there were these illegalities ongoing, there was this environment which made it such that confessions that were obtained would be lawfully obtained and unlawfully obtained?
Ender panel o woɓɓe wonɓe yimɓe wonɓe nder panel o kamɓe koye maɓɓe ɓe andunona gonga haalalaji ko men ɓamata e juuɗe ɓe yimɓe sita haaloɓe ɗi haalaji ko wiyata ko ɗum woni haala maɓɓe walla statement maɓɓe o komin ɓami ko sita e nder on suudu wayri ɗon no haaju on woniri woɓɓe no huuli no humɓini so joni si on ɓami haala e juuɗe woɓɓe e nder ɗon ko ɗum mi lamdi sita ɗum noon on haala mo ɓe ɓami e juuɗe maɓɓe wayri dula on hulɓina so ɗon noon wawa wonde ko luwa o wi on sifa haala ɓe foti ɗum wallinde sengo.
I am so with the police panelists, they should know. The rest, their appreciation may be different.
So holy wonder menen songa me ingo ka police ben hibe andi kambe kono non e sengo be dango mi anda ben non e sengo mabbe ko hasibe farming nde luwa ko hondu haale e fi dum kono menen sengo amen menen andi.
So you're telling the commission that you, the police officers in the panel, you were sure that what was going on was unlawful and the statements obtained would have been, the confessions obtained would have been unlawfully obtained. So what you said, right?
Joni ko wiida ko haalanta commission o ko ɗum woni onon sengo polisaɓe onon oɗon andi o no yarata ni haala ko ɓe ɓagata e juuɗe ɓe yimɓe wayri ɓe ɗo dula on no hulɓini haala ka wawata wonde haala mo annduɗa o darat no wawnodal ko ɗum haalanta commission o oɗo darde ni onon sengo o polisaɓe on anduno ɗum.
We knew statements obtained under any form of duress would have issues when it gets to the courts. But you know, the status quo, and we have to go by what the realities were.
te kan hala ka hebuda e jungo on neddo tuumaɗo ko wattu mo ƴettanaɗa on haala makko e jungo makko haymo koye ɓitte ƴettuɗa kan haala si o yeehi ka suudu ñawore kan ɗon ka haala ka tegete sengo.
Well, it's the status quo that we're trying to find out. We're trying to establish what the status quo was. So you accept that the police component of the investigations, you knew that there were these illegalities going on, and you knew that those statements, those confessions that were obtained during these illegalities are tainted and therefore they were illegally obtained. You knew that, correct?
So joni no wawno an horema sengo police on andi hala ko be bangi juude be yimbe wayri gonga wona wona haalaji manduɗa ko ɓe yimɓe tigi welti ha ɓe haali ɗin haalaji kono noon no ɓe okkiri haalaji ɗin on dulaɗo ɓe woni ɗon no wawnudal ɓenin hulɓini ɓenin huli te noon wona dal belde maɓɓe pour ɓe haala ɗon noon no wawno haala ko ɓe ɓan juuɗe maɓɓe ɗon on haala wawata darade wawata wonde haala mo annduɗa goɗɗo yadade e no haala.
I knew those statements could be subjected to some rejection somewhere.
Nandi wonde ma ɗin haalaji goɗɗi e majji tan so mi yeehi dulaji go ɓe salota ɗi ɓe wataɗi bokkinde ka nder haala.
But again, that is not the question I asked. Whether the statements would be subjected to some rejection somewhere. That is not the question. The question is, you said earlier that the police knew that due to these illegalities, the confessions were unlawfully obtained.
Wayri no ɓe landiri ɓe yimɓe e nder jamaɗo ɓe woni ɗon e nder suudu ndu no wayi wayri ɗon no hulɓini kala haala ko ɓe ɓaŋi e juuɗe ɓe yimɓe ɗon wayri tuma ɓe ɓaŋata haala ka yaadani e laawol par ce que ɓe yimɓe no huli on tuma so joni ko ɗum woni ɗin haalaji wawata wonde haala mo annduɗa darat e sengo loi.
Yes, I said they were obtained under duress, which is not right. That's what I said.
Mi haali ɗum haalaji maɓɓe ɗen koye nder ɓitte haalaji maɓɓe ɗin ƴetta ɗum ɗo mi haali ɗum no dari.
And the police, you said, knew that.
Tenon a wiiɗa police sengo police kamɓe ɓe andino ɗum.
Council, that was obvious. The police knew.
Ɗum ɗon kayno laaɓi council.
The information we received from other members of the panel
kibaruji ko ɓe heɓi yimɓe wonɗa kamɓe kala ɓe tawano ɓe no wonno e nder panel on
is also that they knew.
Ko ɗum woni kamɓe kala ɓe anduno.
But let me ask this question. As the police in the panel responsible for taking statements and so forth, did you advise the panel that what they were doing was unlawful?
Wayni polisaɓe wonɓe e nder panel on kamɓe hiɓe andi so joni on waɗani feere pour on okka yamirore pour ɓeɗo pour kamɓe kala ɓe anda gonga ligge ligge ɗen komin no min mbaɗirta ɗum ni yaɗani e lawol ho on yamira on okkani ɗum on yamirore.
They are not council. I didn't.
Hala council me waran.
You did not. That's what you said. But you knew that this thing was ongoing, it was illegal. You just decided to go along with it, correct?
Joni no wano dal onon polisaɓe on andi ko watte ni wona lawol wona ni ɓe piiji ɗin foti yarude on andi ɗum kono on yerni on acci haaju on ko noon continue.
Yes, council.
Hey, council.
And do you realize that by doing that, you have really failed to do what you are supposed to have done as a police officer?
Edo ɗum noon wayri ko noon haaji ɗin haajo on yaari awa joni onon on waɗani ligge mo annduɗa ko ɗum on fotno wadde e sengo police no ɓe foti waɗirde sita e haala ka yaari noon no wano dal on waɗani ko on fotno waɗde on darde nde wonno ɗon ɗon.
What I was doing at the time was what I could have done, the only thing I could have done.
We would
come to that later. The question is, by not doing anything about it, you have failed to do what you were expected or required to do by law as a police officer.
Awa joni on acci lawol mo anduɗa ko on lawol on fotno ɓamde walla on waɗani ligge mo anduɗa ko noon on fotno wadde on acci ligge ɗen no fotno ɗo yarude sengo police aɓe joni police on koɓe fotno wadde joni awa no wano ɓe waɗani ligge maɓɓe.
I don't want to agree with that. I of the view that what we did in getting their statements, regardless of the fact that it was on a bad environment, was to try to help them out to get the truth from them and then state it as they stated it, even though it may not be voluntary. Out of inducement.
That was why. Are you really serious, Mr. Witness? Are you really serious with that answer? If we think here that you are not speaking the truth, if we think so, and we take you out and beat you to help you speak the truth, would that be lawful?
Sita ahali mine wombe do men siku wana gonga halta ni joni wobe yana e do ma be nanga ma be naba ma yasi be lippo yama sikula dum no yadi e lawol.
Ala. Why would you therefore think that what you did was okay because you just helped them to speak the truth?
Joni why ko dum hodum wadi non wiida e ko waddon kon tan ala hen wayre kon walla no ben rek pour be wawa halde ko gonga ko be fodno halde.
I'm not sure whether your scenario is what had happened to everybody who came before the panel.
No, we just looking at what you said.
You
said yes, there was some jurors, but all we did was we just helped them speak the truth, regardless of the things that may have happened.
Gonga don dey ko hulbini no don kono non minen ko men walluno dum rek pour be wawa halde ko be foti halde ko pour men bawa hebde din halaji e juude mabbe.
Wasn't it that you said?
Wona ko dum halloda.
Yes or no?
Yes, that's what I said.
But this is what I'm saying, that this is very sad.
That's ko dum mi wiatani dum no yurmini ha.
To come from a senior police officer.
There
was jurors, there is torture, and you said it was okay, all we did was help them state the truth that they were going to say. That is serious. That is That is a fundamental violation of the constitution of this country. Are you aware of that?
I think, Council, sometimes you go around my statement and construct a sentence as if that's what I said.
Council, and what would you go by?
I'm serious, because I have never said that what has happened was lawful. No, I didn't say that, but I said the conditions under which we were operating. That's what I said.
Don't interpret this. Let's go. Mr. Witness, I just told you what you said. You said you agreed that's what you said. I told you that that is very sad. What you said is a fundamental violation of the constitutional rights of those people.
You continue to say some other things too. That is why I'm reacting. But what I confirm to have said, yes, I did say that.
Okay, let's put it back this way. You said, yes, there was duress, okay, and other things have happened. But all we did was to help them to say the truth that they were going to say anyway. That's what you said. True or false?
Yes, that's what I said.
I'm telling you again, the third time, it's like you completely disregard the provisions of the Constitution. There should be no duress. There should be no torture. So to say that it is okay, we just help them to confess, that is very sad. And it is this mindset, the fact that you can just sit here and say, we just help them to make the confession, which suggests that to you, this was okay. But it is not okay.
I wish this was the opportunity we had at that time. It would have been a different thing.
No, but even now, even now, Mr. Witness, you see it as okay. What all you did was help them to make the confession. So you torture them, and then you just help them to make the confession, and it's fine. But if that is what had happened to you, it would not be fine, would it?
I never said it's fine. I never said the tortures were fine, Council. I didn't say that. And that is why I say sometimes we go around my sentence and create a sentence and give the impression that that's what I said. I didn't say that their beating, their tortures was right. I didn't say that. But I said that what cannot be helped, you have to enjoy it. That's what the reality was.
But that is what I don't agree with.
Well, that was the reality. Whether you agree or not, that is for the Council to take it. That was the reality.
Mr. Witness, you huffing and puffing at the same time. You say something, you accept that you said it, then you turn around and you say you did not say it. But I would leave that issue and I'll move on. Do you think that what happened was right?
Whether what happened was right? No, that cannot be right.
Are you proud of it as a police officer?
No, I cannot be proud of that, Council.
Are you disappointed with all of you?
I would not call it disappointed. I wouldn't call it that. It was wrong, yes, but then the circumstances were such that what do you do? If there was an option, yes, but if no option, we would do what is the possibilities around.
Mr. Witness, you sit here, you said you saw the illegalities going on. You would not even tell your colleagues that this was illegal.
Yes, I wouldn't tell them. That does not mean.
But isn't that a failure of your duty? You are a police officer. A violation of a right is here happening right in front of you.
Parce que ansa woni police ado ya goddo no yakka loi e yeso ma acca dum non.
It was criminal.
Take it to be a failure, Council.
No, tell us. You tell the commission. it was a failure, you tell the commission. To take it as anything, you tell the commission. You failed in your duties.
I
had no choice.
But you failed.
If I failed, I had no choice.
But do you first agree that you have failed?
I agree that there was a responsibility that I have that I could have done, but I didn't do it, which was as a result of the circumstances.
And that is failure on your part to do what you were professionally obliged to do.
Ko liggemon o ko holliri no foti wadde wayri on wadani dum wano dal on yani.
I will still say yes, but qualified by the circumstances.
What were the circumstances?
Well, except if you want me to repeat myself, I said the characters within that environment, the environment was tense, intimidating, fearful. So what else? Those were the circumstances.
You were not to give a statement. You were not the person being investigated. Okay? What were the circumstances that compelled you to close your eyes to these illegalities that were ongoing?
Wana an foti okude halaji manuda bangadum. Wana an lamdoto. Kono non ko woni modi ha joni jabani larda ubi gite maden sengo piji mandu adini yadani e lawol manuda
Can't you let me to say that the situation was tense, it was fearful, it was intimidating. So, and that is to everybody. That was what we are discussing here. So, if you are trying to get me out of that now, you want me to say something different.
No. You were in fact. Could we listen to one another? You were in fact avoiding saying that was to everybody. But you have accepted that now. We're very happy that you have done so. But the question is, for you, apart from the existence of these characters around, what was it that compelled you to saw the illegalities and you just closed your eyes to them as if they did not exist? What was it?
There was no exceptional circumstance apart from what the realities were on the ground in that venue. That was the same only circumstance.
I don't understand.
If I'm on it,
there were no exceptional circumstances except the realities on the ground.
Outside what obtains in that room.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Yes, the room is what was the determinant.
Yes.
So
what was it? What was it that compelled you to close your eyes to what was happening?
Closing eyes in trying to draw the attention was like, you never know what the repercussion would be, so you don't venture. You be sensitive to your own security. Did you members of the panel discuss it? Discuss what? Like to see
the situation that obtained within the panel?
I think Council earlier, if my memory serves me right, we've gone past that. You want to come back again?
Just answer the question.
We've all felt intimidated.
Thank you for accepting that, even though it's 2 hours late. But the question is, did you discuss what was going on at the panel, that these were illegalities? Did you discuss them?
on yewtuno ko wonno e nder suudu ndu wonno dal no hulɓini yaadani e laawol on yewtani ɗum hakkunde monde.
What I can recall was discussed was the presence of these other characters that we discussed.
Men yewti ɗon men hakkundame ɗum woni ɓeɗo yimɓe yasinnaɓe tawa ɓargol ɗum ɓe ara ɓe tawa men kam men gollata toon ɗum ɗon men yewti ɗum.
Did you discuss that tortures were ongoing?
On yewtuno ɗon pour holla wondema ɓe yimɓe woɓɓe addaɓe ɗon ɓe lappuno ɗumen.
Yes, we discussed myself. I had right. I'm sorry.
And did you decide to just go along with the situation?
So joni on laari dal ɗo dey fadu men yaada e ko watte ni rek men yaada e ɗum.
There was no suggestion of going otherwise. There was just expressing what your feeling was, but not to think otherwise.
So by continuing and by going along, you have accepted to participate in an unlawful enterprise.
Wari on jaɓi pour on yaada e haaji on no wuriri ɗon. On jaɓi e piiji ɗum no walori ɗon. Awa joni no wawno dal onon kala on jaɓi pour on waɗa haaju fi goɗɗum wannuɗa yaadani e laawol.
Enterprise, I don't understand, but what I know is...
Okay, call it engagement.
Well,
an unlawful engagement. You carried out an unlawful activity, which was obtaining confessions from people under circumstances which render it illegal.
No, rek man wawa wiide pour ɓangol konngol juuɗe yimɓe mo annduɗa no ɓamiri ɓin haalaji juuɗe maɓɓe yaadani e laawol. So joni ko ɗum men haaltani ɗon noon si ta jaɓi ko non wonirina.
Like I said earlier, this was also mentioned. I will repeat it again, because we said anything that has to do with law, if it was lawful or unlawful, I cannot contest that. I said it.
Kala ko adama waɗi baɗe ɗannanama wondema yaadani e laawol tawi luwa on jaɓan ɗum ɗum mi en poɗodirta ɗum ɗon.
Why don't you just answer the question, yes or no?
I think I need to explain so that you also it will not be a matter of you making the statement and I saying yes to it. It is me who is making the statement, Counsel.
Mr. Witness, this is the art of cross-examination. The cross-examiner puts the proposition for the witness to adopt.
The cross-examiner does not make statements.
Oh, is that so?
You don't need to make my statement. I am here. That this is not, even if you are cross-examining me, Counsel, I think you also need to appreciate the fact that I am the one who is testifying.
Mr. Witness, okay, let's not argue over these things. Please, just answer the question.
Okay.
Right? Don't interpret this. It's just a repetition. I have to break down the questions, take the baby steps, and arrive.
Okay.
You knew the illegalities were going on, correct? Correct? Answer.
The illegalities on statement recordings.
The tortures, the duress, the intimidating and fearful environment, you know that was existing.
Yes, Counsel.
And you knew that under such circumstances to obtain a confession would be unlawful, correct?
Yes.
You closed your eyes to all those facts, correct?
Yes.
You went along and took the statements, correct?
Yes.
Knowing fully well that the circumstances were not the ones under which a statement could lawfully be taken, correct?
Yes.
So in effect, you agree therefore that you participated in an exercise that was unlawful, correct?
No, I wouldn't agree that I participated because in an unlawful exercise as you portray it.
But are you allowed by law to obtain a confession unlawfully? Are you allowed to do that by law?
Council, law, if you allow me, I think law becomes law depending on the government in place.
Are you serious?
That's because the thing is, these laws we are talking about, we are the same laws that obtains in the 22 years. So if we were there and people at that time, I felt, you know, I said the environment. Environment has granted me.
I am confused.
No.
I don't understand what you are saying.
Let me rephrase what I wanted to say then.
Law becomes law, what?
I said law becomes law depending on who is governing. That's what it is, even though it's written, but the application makes the law what it should be. We've seen that happen. Because there is nothing wrong with the laws. There has not been any changes in the law. But we were constrained.
Mr. Witness,
we were constrained.
Why don't you just answer the questions?
Instead of going on
the tangent on muddying the waters, just answer. You knew fully well that all this was illegal. You knew it. You knew it. Yet you decided to go ahead with it. Did it? Yes. Fine, thank you. You decided to keep quiet about the whole thing, and as a result you came up with a report which was the basis of the prosecution of the accused persons. Correct? Could you respond now?
Yes.
Counsel.
And these people were prosecuted on the basis of your reports. Correct?
I think it's on the basis of their statements, because the report was just a summary of what was obtained.
The report is the compendium of all the materials that you have gathered, including the evidence. So that was the basis of the prosecution. It's not just their statements. But what you said makes it even worse. They were prosecuted on the basis of statements that you knew were illegally obtained.
Very well, that is the content of the report. I'm not saying something outside the norm. The report is a summary of the statements. So that illegality you talk about is the same process. I can state there was nothing introduced in that report that is not contained in the file. Nothing. Even though it was illegally obtained, like we all agreed, but that was the fact. We summarized the statements, and then individual responsibilities was and if you have the report, you can go to it and see. You don't see anything outside what is in the file.
I honestly don't know what you're talking about. But I'll just go back to my line of questioning. You knew that the report or the statements were illegally obtained. Correct?
Yes, they were obtained under an environment that is not conducive and under duress.
As a police officer,
police,
do you accept or do you believe that people should be prosecuted on the basis of illegally obtained evidence.
That should not be fair.
And you know that that scheme, the whole arrangement, the way it was structured and the way it was done, it was all aimed at obtaining confessions willy-nilly in order to produce results that Yaya Jammeh wanted.
Non tigi don andi din laabi no wadi don dun non pour yetton kongudi be don din ko pour do wadon mo rek do anduda ne to Yaya Jammeh ida e mo no wadi do mo no.
That's the truth, isn't it?
Ko dum woni gonga on ndax wana dum.
That's not the way I perceive it.
Mi wana no miiri dum de.
Okay. Who sent in the junglers?
Mo nili jongula ben.
I have no idea, Council.
Mr.
Witness, this is now notorious fact.
It
is known by everybody that the junglers came from State House. No matter how you pretend, everybody knows. Is it true or false? That the junglers came from State House?
I came to know that,
yes. But you knew that Martin came from State House?
I knew Martin was part of the State Guards.
You knew Tumbul Tamba came from State House?
Yes.
You knew that Musa Jammeh Malia Mungu came from State House?
Andino ne Musa Jammeh alias Malia Mungu ko State House or Imotono?
Yes, Council. The reason why you were fearful was, in fact, because you had these so-called characters all from State House overseeing and looking what you guys were doing.
Among
other things, yes.
State House
in fact, you knew that those people were sent there to see what you guys were doing, and were constantly reporting back to Yaya Jammeh. Isn't that true?
It's a possibility.
But you all knew he was interested.
I cannot dispute that.
Yes, and in fact, that is the reason why he said that they would send GRTS to air the confessions publicly. Isn't that true?
Issue of GRTS.
Isn't that true?
I know GRTS came there because I saw them, but how they came, I don't know, and I don't have any interaction with the GRTS. Not the least, not a single day that I saw even a staff of GRTS. That applies to most panel members.
Doesn't that in fact show that they were sent there by a higher authority?
I cannot contest that. That may be true.
Exactly. So all this put together just shows that Yaya Jammeh's presence and his visits loomed large.
In
the minds of the panelists, and dictated what they would do or what they would not do. You all knew what Yaya Jammeh wanted.
I think, to be realistic, this is not about what Yaya Jammeh wanted from the start, because this is about people wanting to topple him. So, obviously, whatever happens later, if he's interested, I didn't know about the coming of the GRTS. I was, not me alone, in fact, most of us were in that room.
Can you answer the question asked? All of you knew what Yaya Jammeh wanted. He wanted confessions by the suspected coupist.
That may be known by the people he sent, because I have never talked to, or neither somebody talked to me about what Yaya Jammeh said. And I was not dealing with these suspects in that light.
All right. You agree that the men in black, do you agree that they came from State House?
And
these were the people who were beating the suspects?
I believe so, yes.
Do you answer now?
I said I believe so. Yes.
All right. And doesn't that show that they were beaten so that they would come and confess to the allegations?
Council, I cannot confirm that. I know that government in the I cannot confirm that. If that instruction was not given to me, and they didn't tell me what they were there for, but whatever they were doing, if it is instruction from...
Well, Mr. Witness, play it no matter how you want. You said these people were tortured and brought before you guys, and they made confession. So obviously those tortures would have been mainly to extract confessions. Would you agree with that?
I cannot disagree with that.
Exactly. So he sent the soldiers. They came and tortured these people. Those people were brought before you, and they made confessions. Don't you see that you have done what Yaya Jammeh wanted?
I will not see it that way too, still.
And how would you see it?
Whether I've done what Yaya Jammeh wanted,
yes, by recording the confessions.
Well, unfortunately,
just hear me out. He ensured you guys recorded the confessions. And he sent in GRTS. They broadcasted this confession as if these confessions were genuinely obtained. Isn't that what happened?
But they were displayed on GRTS.
And those confessions were written down by you? So don't you see that Yaya Jammeh has got what he wanted?
Probably, that's a possibility. You know, but if the line,
don't dilute the truth.
No.
But you understand that possibility, that is what was desired.
The line of communication, we must also do that. Not everybody is privy to talking to Yaya Jammeh. I've never spoken to Yaya
Jammeh. Did he have to talk to you for you to know exactly what was going on? You were even scared to raise an objection. Were you just scared of men in uniform, or were you scared of the authority behind them?
It's not the uniform. That's uniform.
So what was it?
It's the authority behind it.
And who was that authority?
Because the leadership was Yaya Jammeh.
Exactly, precisely the point.
With that one, yes. But if you want to make it look the way I would not be able to answer it that way. But I know that my fears, if I was fearful of anything, it's not the uniform, because I'm a uniform officer. I see uniform people. So that is not the uniform that was intimidating. It was the characters there with different people who come from different areas, and you never know what they are up to. So that was the cause of concern.
Okay. Put it to us. in very, very simple terms. So that a primary 3 child sitting at home would understand. They too need to know what happened. You guys did what Yaya Jammeh wanted. Obtain confessions from these people, from these suspects. It was broadcast to the whole country for everybody to believe that this was the truth. When those confessions were obtained by torture, duress, intimidation, would you agree that that's the truth?
The truth, Council, is these people were brought, and their conditions of appearance suggest they were tortured. And they were interrogated, interviewed, and statements obtained from them. And these statements were summarized and a report written and sent to the AG's chambers. That's what we've done.
Well, with a witness, you have gone back in the morning and you sanitized and window dressed the issue. You have gone back, you have sanitized and window dressed the issue. Let's take it sentence by sentence. They were brought in circumstances that suggest they were tortured. They were brought before us, they were interrogated, statements taken, their statements were summarized, a report made, and sent to AG chambers. This is better than Photoshop. It's been stripped of all the vestiges of illegality. And packaged to look nice. That is not what happened.
This my statement is in response to the issue of say Yaya Jammeh said this. This is what I whatever I said is in record. There is nothing I would say now that can change the what happened.
You just tried. You just failed.
No, I don't think there is an issue of trying or failing. What trials are failing?
Okay, let's dissect it. They were tortured and brought before you, correct? That's what you said before.
Yes.
You agree with that? Good. And they were interviewed in environment that was intimidating. Correct?
Yes.
That bit you skipped in your summary. And when the statements were written, they were written with the full knowledge by those who were taking the statements that this was illegal. Correct? Correct?
Yes.
And when you guys put together the report, you knew that this was not an honest report about what has happened in those panels. In that panel. You knew that. It was not an honest, bona fide report about what has happened. You agree?
To the extent that what they said was exactly that was summarized.
No. Well, if you force me
Sa forsi la ming.
To say that this pillar is God, and I say it, and you submit that report, that is what I have said.
And then windi dum anabi Johnny Tiri yimbe be anduda ko.
But what would change the character is the fact that I was forced. If you omit to say that I was forced, the report becomes something completely different.
Sa winna ni nek a forsam pour mi hala dum andi report on yara no yari non be yene ko gonga ko min hali ko Johnny Tiri aka report.
You see, there was this culture of faking reports in the NIA. Isn't
ko ada wonno ka NIA ko anduda ne on wada on winda report gidi anduda wona non no di windira non wona non di yari,
which is used to prosecute people.
Non ko dum don be rewata e ngol don on report be ya be nyaawa yimbe be.
Isn't that true?
Won dum da dum wona gonga.
You want me to answer that, Council?
Yes.
I did that.
No, I am not saying that you did.
I
am saying that there was a culture of producing reports that were not 100% truthful.
Woni no ada NIA be andudane be windane report jidi andudane yadani e lawol ngol andudane ko non report jidi fonno yaro
contained false information.
Kongudi wona di don info di anduda haray fo ko fenade wona ta
which was used as a basis to prosecute people.
Tet ko ding report ji be rewa no be nyaawa yimbe be.
Or the evidence fabricated. This was the norm.
I cannot confirm. Sedeyaji di anduda no e report on ko dum don be rewa no be nyaawa be yimbe be anduda ko fawabe ko anduda ne yadane e lawol.
Weren't you prosecuted on the basis of false information?
Ndax ang be nyaawani ma e do report mo andudane ko be fawma ko wadani dum.
That was not from the NIA. If there was any false information,
didn't part of it come from the NIA?
Ndax report on sengo woto ngo wona NIA.
Is that the one you are asking or general? Because Council, you need to be, you have to guide me and guide me right. Because if you are not telling me what to confirm,
I can't tell you.
You have to guide me right.
I can't tell you that I have 20-something years of experience of doing.
That is not my issue. That is not my problem.
I am guiding you right.
No, you are not guiding me right. If you want me to attest to statements or reports at the NIA when I was not there.
Have you ever prosecuted a case? Have you ever appeared in court and prosecuted a case?
We'll come to that if that is.
Have you ever done so?
Yes.
Hey.
Which one?
It's against me.
Oh my God. Can you prosecute a case against yourself?
No, I don't prosecute. At the NIA, we don't have prosecutors.
The question was, have you ever prosecuted a case?
I didn't get
so you have zero experience prosecuting a case?
Allah experience.
You want to tell me how to question or guide witnesses?
Let's proceed. Let's match you, but I have been prosecuting cases when I was in the police.
Let's proceed. Let's not go into these things. Let's not go into this.
But I will request that you ask me questions that I have answers for.
No, I will not do that.
No. If you are asking me about NIA making statements or reports that are, when I don't have an idea about that, and you want me to answer, then that means you are trying to make me look very difficult. Then you are the one who is provoking it. Council, with due respect. I think you just...
I will just put that aside, please. As if you did not say it.
Johnny, Johnny,
I'll just put it aside as if you did not say it. What you people did was an illegal fabrication.
Except if the coup d'etat was fake. It was a creation. The tortures, I know there is no way anybody can justify.
But you are here justifying it. I am telling you that what you guys have did can only be described as an illegal fabrication. All of you were complicit in covering up a state-sponsored torture.
Onon fo oko e dow ballal ngal andunanane on walli laamu wonnoɗo ɗo on pour wawa yimɓe piide yimɓe ɓen koye anduɗa yaadani e lawol.
And you came up with a report with the cover of proprietary when it was all wrong.
Ardudong a report mo andudane ko fewnado kala nando mo wala yi mo sikay ne ko hal don ko gonga.
It was tainted completely by illegality.
Non fo ko anduda ko muri mo kon fo yadane e loi.
Do you agree with that?
Ndaha jabiru.
Where the law speaks, I don't disagree.
And because of your conduct, before that, I had asked you this question before, that you knew these trials were going on, and none of you had the courage to say that these confessions, which were going to be the basis of these convictions, were illegally obtained.
Ono andi no ndenya wore no ya. Te hay goto e mo wawan hebude nde berne pour yaltude halane be di kumbudi di be jonnudo ni non wonano yari.
Yes, and my response was, I don't have any right to go to any court to insist on me, and I don't even have the mind. If there was that possibility, I would not even have the guts to go and do that.
Why? Mr. Witness, you recall you were prosecuted. You were prosecuted, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And the person, one of the supposed star witnesses of the prosecution, what happened with him? Can you tell the commission?
We be andun mo anduna dane ko kanko be darnuno pour wona sede e dow nyaawore mande ko honno wannomo.
He was arrested and charged for perjury.
I am not coming to that. Let's come to what happened at the time of your prosecution.
Oyi mimi arane dum donde joni waden daroden ko anduda e der nyaawore mande ko wanno ko.
About his testimony? Yes, when you say what happened, that's what I answered.
What happened during your trial?
When he
was called as a witness, what happened?
He testified. What did he say? He said he has no idea about what was written in that statement of his.
But then this was his statement,
According to him, no.
Mr. Witness, he said that he was bribed and made to say that statement, but the statement was not true. He refused to incriminate you because he does not possess the facts that are contained in this statement. And that he was bribed by the DPP to give the false statement against you. Isn't that what happened?
I think you are missing the facts.
Before all that, Counsel, can you give us a bit of context of this trial?
What happened
was, came on and the two of you seem to be the ones who know.
Yes, what happened was he was charged for
abuse of office
and taking money.
Yeah, corruption kind of.
Is it official corruption? I don't know exactly what the charges are, but for taking money from one so-called Christopher Baji. And a star witness was supposed to be the person who should come and testify against him. The DPP made arrangements with the witness and got an incriminating statement. The witness came to court and said, I did not make this statement. They tried to bribe me to make this statement. I refuse. And he was acquitted. Isn't that what happened?
Yes, but the facts I want to correct.
Okay, correct the facts.
Yes, the statement, according to him, was written during the time of investigation at the agency.
Yes.
And he traveled out and he was made to come back. When he came, the DPP called him, according to him, that you have, this is a statement, it's the only statement that can put this guy in trouble. we will want you to go and testify, and there is a package for you. Nothing was given to him.
250,000?
280,000. All right, there is a package for you. If you testified against this man, then you come and get your money. So he went, he told them, okay, they agreed, he went, and after taking the oath, he said what he knew, because he said he would not say anything to incriminate when it was not true. So,
and didn't he say that the prosecution attempted to bribe him?
Okay.
So we agree with that. Correct?
Yes. So the DPP, that's what he told, because he was later arrested and charged for perjury, and we were all going to the same vehicles, the same mile 2 together. Then he'd confer with us to say this was what happened. He was offered 280,000 by the DPP, and this was in the office of the DPP, Chenyan, to go and say anything against me. But his conscience would not allow him.
Exactly. His what? Say
his what? His conscience
would not
allow him, because he said he would not take oath and then go and lie. Exactly. That's what he said.
Exactly. This is a person who chose, if what he did was true, he chose to act honorably, isn't it? Against all risks against the state.
This was not a matter of risk against the state.
It was. No. This is a man who was going to accuse the DPP of bribery. And you were a senior officer who was interdicted at the time. The state was prosecuting you. Isn't it?
Yeah, I would still
exactly.
say.
So this guy chose to act according to his conscience because he saw what was happening was illegal, isn't it?
Kanko o jabi rewde lawol ngol anduda ne ko ngol don lawol o foti rewde te kadi o yiine bayri ko neddo mo anduda neddo pewal o jabani ma nanude,
isn't it?
That's what he said. Yes.
And you were happy.
And I was not sad when I was in my two.
My friend, tell us the truth. You were happy. You were excited. You were going to be released because of the intervention of this person who chose to act honorably.
I think for me, please, my issue.
Just answer the question.
No, this is not
just answer the question.
No, I will not answer.
You were happy.
Not the way you want me to answer. With this one, this is not a matter that is relevant.
Even if you choose not to answer, the record would speak for itself. The commission is not a matter for
TRRC.
That's why I raised the question whether or not it is.
Even though I should say something like that, because I was detained for 2 years.
Hold on a second. So the link with the 2006 panels is acting honorably by that individual. And
Mr. Chair, what I am trying to say is I am trying to draw parallels here.
Yeah, fine. That's the thing I'm looking for.
Somebody was tasked to do the same violation against him that he had done against others. And this guy acted honorably for him, leading to his acquittal. How did he behave? How did he conduct himself? That's why the dilly-dallying, now he wouldn't answer the question.
Dilly-dallying I want.
I don't think, Council, this choice of words of yours against me, sometimes I don't like. I must say this. Dilly-dallying for what? I was in mile 2 based on that statement for 22 months. For 20 months.
But some people were in mile 2 for years because you knew and never said any word that the reason why they were in mile 2, all those statements were bogus. And you sat there and kept quiet. You kept mum because you were not the one suffering. And that is how it feels, Mr. Witness.
That is true, Council.
Exactly. So let's leave it at that and then we move on. You ought to have and should have acted honorably by showing that the basis of the detention, the incarceration of these people and sentenced to death, sentenced to life, sentenced to 25 years was because people like you refused to do what the law required you to do. That is what happened. That is what happened. So, do you regret it? There are regrets over this. Yes. Do you regret it? Do you regret what you guys have done?
I've regretted what had happened to all these people. And as far as
don't dilute the answer. Just answer me specifically on this particular issue, the work of the panel, this work you said you are not proud of. Do you regret what you guys have done?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you very much. That's the honorable thing to do. What would you say to those people who are sentenced to life imprisonment or sentenced to death, sentenced to 25 years or God knows how many years imprisonment? By reason of these bogus reports you guys have produced, what would you say to them?
I will tell them it's regrettable that what had happened to them, particularly in terms of their tortures and all that stuff. I feel very saddened. And my own side of my conduct, I would request a kind of forgiveness from them.
I have no further questions.
Thank
you very much, Council, and thank you again, Mr. Demba Sowe, for your testimony. Commissioners, if you have any questions to ask, please indicate. If there are no questions, Mr. Sowe, if you have... Oh, you didn't indicate it, Commissioner. Go ahead and do so now.
You sat there and you are helping the victims who have been tortured to speak the truth.
Wida anga jodi no don pour walla be anduda be fawno be pour be fala libude lamu wonno do on pour wawa be wallude be hala gonga.
How can they speak the truth when you know they have been beaten mercilessly?
We honno be halita gonga te anga andine be ko piya be ha be fala be jogori mayle.
And you are fully aware.
Antigi andi dum.
And you are fully aware that
antigi hida andi dum ne.
It's because they have refused to say what the people want them to say.
Not
necessarily the truth. Isn't that so?
I think, Chairman, I would want to withdraw this word help. In the context of where I put it. Because it will suggest that I'm condoning a certain thing. So, unfortunately, what I had wanted to convey is there was a need for us to come up with a report. And that report can only be informed by recording their statements, regardless of the fact that they were so, meaning some of them, based on that report, they were even recommended to be used in a different way or even released. Possibly the word help has given another meaning to what I had wanted to say. That was not meant to justify. What happened at the commission was, at the panel was right.
And this was a report based on statements that were coerced.
Yes. Extorted, as the DG of NIA would say.
Yes, indeed. See, I don't have any problems with you using synonyms. Tensed Anyway, any more questions now? Mr. Sowe, you may proceed now to make your concluding remarks if you have any.
Thank you, Chairman, and Mr. Alhamdulillah for Chairman Ajarama Johnny Mina Falawi de Alhamdulillah sitting before this honorable house. Joda Gol do ndu sudu yeso ndu yimbe ndu sudu anduda yimbe ben fo no wadi mo horma, giving the opportunity to see what I know about the 2006 foil coup investigations. Pour mi jonnitira ko mi andi kon ko yari e dow 2006 coup d'état mo anduda o falano wadde do kono Allah walli o wadani. I wish to state that mi fala halde dum ne whatever happened during that time and there dum don e o don waktu, as far as our panel was concerned, kala ko anduda panel amen o wadino dum ontuma had a lot of things to do with the circumstances that was at stake. However, wadirno mo fo ko anduda kono alhaali on panel on wonirno non no be darnirno mo non ko dum tahi dum yarino. What had been meted to the suspect could not be justified by any other person. Oui, kala ko wadano be don be anduda be fawino be ngol don jamfa yarudo e do laamu ngun hay goto wawata no mo andutude. And I feel saddened and very remorseful. Oui, te nimsi dum te kadi dum ko wonani la yurmede e mette bernde to be associated with things like this. Oui, pour be wawa inde am nane e yimbe be anduda ko ben wadi dum waddu. For those who know me, yimbe andube lambe can attest to you as to why Mr. Sowe. Unfortunately, we kono ko andudane bayri yari no. The system we had at the time was really a bit of a problem. That you, in most cases, would hesitate. To see what you feel is. And this, to an extent, had warranted a number of Gambians leaving the source of the Gambia. For fear of whatever the thing could have happened to them. And the never again, to me, is very important. Gambia is our homeland. And we are all duty bound to protect the interest and integrity of the country. The security of Gambia is a matter for all of us. What I have noticed is that actively or passively, what had happened in the last 22 years had been a collective responsibility, in my view, for all those Gambians of the age of 18 and above. Unfortunately, Gambia, we all know it to be a smiling coast naturally, that is the truth. For it to turn to be something else different, if not for the hesitation of people, to point out the facts, maybe it could not have gotten this far. As a security officer, and as somebody who forms part of the core management of the Gambia Police Force, we are inclined to reforms. And key among what we are doing is to ensure officers are capacitized, knowledgeable in areas that forms the basics of investigations. In ensuring that people's rights are protected, of course without compromising security. So the leadership as we speak at the Gambia Police Force is bent on ensuring that we have the right wherewithals, the right logistical support, to do our job. However, as a matter of concern, some of the rights need some amenities, particularly the infrastructural support. I'm saying this because if you want to, somebody commits a crime and he's to be detained and is a juvenile or a woman, you go to stations across the country, you will realize that the police force is constrained in some aspects. And since it's a demand and a constitutional responsibility that we protect people's rights, I think it's important that we all put hands together to support the reform structures or the reform activities. I also want to encourage Gambians to be law-abiding. I respect the happenings within the TRRC. But I would also request that some little bit of hesitation be given in areas. I would say this for the fact that there was a pronouncement that was made here, of course, for good reasons. And by coincidence, my team of investigators had to conduct an arrest somewhere. And this is a cognizable crime. It's a felonious crime that is arrestable without a warrant. The son to the suspect confronted the police, asking for a warrant of arrest. Some of these things are becoming challenges, and it will have some national security implications. So that's why I want Gambians and non-Gambians in the Gambia to try to be law-abiding in the interest of reform and in getting the proper environment within the entire country. That said, Mr. Chairman, I wish to thank you and your entire commission members and the lead counsel and his team for at least doing justice to this nation.
laid in the law.
I know it's a daunting task, but it's doable. And I wish to also thank my entire family for supporting me in all aspects. Although Mr. Fall didn't ask me to narrate my ordeal, but I respect that because for me, I took that as a challenge and a test on my faith by the Almighty Allah. Even though I didn't say anything, we didn't say anything about it. But I'm saying to those that had contributed in one way or the other in seeing me there, I have nothing against him and I've forgiven everybody. Even though the commissioner and the commission don't know the details, but I would want to make it clear to the entire Gambian people that I owe no grudges against anybody as far as my individual ordeal was concerned. I was in mile 2 for 20 months. 18 of which were without a warrant. And I was going to court until at the final end I was discharged. I couldn't discharge. But I don't hold anything against anybody, and I forgiven whoever must have played a role in one way or another. With these remarks, Mr. Chairman, I want to thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
yes, Mr. Chair, I think it behoves me to set the record straight with regards to the witness's victimization. In his statement, he says he does not want to talk about it. He's just providing the information because he was asked. That's one reason, so I thought he wanted some little bit of privacy about that. The other issue is the violation. What I have seen on paper was not one type violation the TRRC is interested in. An allegation was made against him. On that basis, he was interdicted. On that basis, he was arrested and detained and prosecuted, and he was acquitted. According to him, his letter to Yahya Jammeh, he said he thanks the president for creating the environment for rule of law to happen in this country. We have nothing against that. Our problem is that same Yahya Jammeh did not allow rule of law to happen against other people. And that's what we focused on. So he has no complaint. I did not know that he was detained in mile 2 for 2 years without warrant, or 20 months without a warrant. I would be surprised how anyone would get into remand without a warrant. But if we did know that, certainly that is a matter that the Commission would be interested in. And this is the reason why we have to do these things, so that we can have a country in which rule of law would be taken for granted and not used just as a matter to extol the leadership, knowing full well that it is just pure talk and not supported by any facts. Thank you.
And was the 20-month summer detention at mile 2 after your participation in the panel?
We lebbi nogas di anduda be nangino mabbe teguma mile 2 so tawi nde joɗɗino ɗon e on panel nde ɗum yawti ko on wattu.
Yes, Chairman. Yes, it was from 2008 September to 2010 May.
But as I said, 8 September to 2010 May.
And the other panel members, did they also go to jail?
Panel member be yehi no jail be anduda be wonno e panel on kambe kadi so tawino be nabino be mile 2.
I was with them there. They are my best of friends. Some of them will console me when they had those problems of going to the NI here and there. Sometimes they will come and say, police keba. Then we confront. We had established a very, very good relationship.
Now, what I'm after is going to mile 2 after fabricating reports that went to the AG on the basis of which convictions were made.
Yes, it is after that.
It was after that?
It was after that.
And the other panelists, what happened to them? Did they also go to jail like you?
No.
Some did.
Some did. Mysterious ways that God's act.
Karma.
Thank you, Mr. Demba Sowe, very much for your testimony. And we will meet again tomorrow morning.
Mr. Demba Sowe,
meeting is adjourned.
When we touch down, better broke down.
Gamtel G-Fiber, now you can enjoy super fast internet in gigabytes. G-Fiber is affordable, stable, secured, and accessible to homes, businesses, and enterprises. With Gamtel G-Fiber, the future is speed. Gamtel, creating a brighter future in communication.
That's so she became mine and see the
all your pastry, bakery, and quality food, CK Restaurant is the only place to be. We do catering for birthdays, weddings, and all related services. We have all kinds of local foods, American, European, and even beyond. At CK Restaurant, customer satisfaction is our priority.
Love like fire. Wow. Love like fire. Xam ngeen rek affaire bi xam ngeen fan la? Skincare la. 2020 lañ wax de. Waaw. Fii nag mooy Kerr fan Kerr zero tache. Perfect skin. Skincare saa su ne rek niñ ko dee defee rek. Loo lañ soxlaati rek. Maanaam bu ngeen am problème ci seen skin ngeen xam ngeen fan la fii ngeen di ñëw suma xarit yeeg am di jàmm yi nga xam ne taas daf lañ sonaloon xam nga doon xeesal bel laka xum éneew ma lañ ko nag waaye just in case comme ni ko gars yi di waxee rek en cas just in case loolu xew xam ngeen fi ngeen di ñëw fii ngeen di ñëw Skincare Plus si baax rek la ñoo dox nag ay baax rek fu ne la ñoo dem ci réew mi di lañ indi rek nag products yu baax du Paris du Italie du USA du fi mu nekk nii sax boole nañ ci nag Sweden fu nekk lañ leen a indilee products bu dee tamit nag da nga ñuul rek ñu lay jamaa natural beauty that melanin dripping we do have stuff for you as well emuñ si skincare products rek ñu ngi ci cuub yi tamit fu ne la ñoo jaar in fact sax last commercial bi ñu defoon waxuñ leen woon ne dañoo dox ci ay kawar na comme li ma dee wax rek boo eggee airport dëgri Samsonite dafa am nuñ laa xoolee waaw ngeen lan nag waaw skin ci moom la ñu gën a xamee nag skincare products ci moom la ñu gën a xamee ñu ngi dox tamit benn tey tamit si ay dàlla man waaye man nag skincare mooy sama specialty xam nga rek jigéen bu sa xar kanam réglé loo def mu jag am nañ Patricia Reiner Kiwi Eye the whole range Lighten Up Gold Tomatine I mean the list can just go on and on and on and on lépp loo xam ne rek luy taaral jigéen la ci yooyu rek la ñoo dox Skincare Plus nag emuñ si Gambia rek ñu nga United States
ñu ngi Gambia fii ba pare bu dee yaa ngi anywhere in Europe mun nañ la ko mail within 3 days rek ñetti fan rek nga jot say diw amuñ si loolu rek dañ laa consult tamit balaa ñu laa jaay diw dinañ def a free consultation pour wax la rek exactly li nga xam ne moo méngoo ak sa kanam dinañ leen wax tamit ne rek am nañ perfumes, fragrances, men's shirts, accessories. We do dresses as well. We do blouses. We do shoes. Name it, we do them. Skincare Plus 2020 is our year of perfection. Zero task. Fi mu nekk nii réew mi fii kenn waratu fi task. Kenn waratu fi am problème kanam. Kenn waratu fi am problème picture. Boo ko amee dafa fekk ne rek ñëwuloo ci place bi fii.